Welcome back to ABC News Live Reports. Time now for our weekly medical rundown with ABC News medical contributor and pediatrician at Stanford Children's Health, Dr. Alok Patel. He's got several important stories for us, starting with the shuttering of measles clinics, vaccine clinics in Texas. Dr. Patel, the state is dealing with its worst measles outbreak in more than 30 years, but there's this news of vaccine clinics shutting down.
Bill, that's absolutely right. This is coming amidst the billions of dollars that were cut from the Trump administration that was related to COVID funding, and possibly with these job cuts at HHS, is that we're seeing vaccine clinics and public health efforts across the country basically being shuttered, including 50 clinics in Texas where they're having their worst measles outbreak in 30 years. And as a reminder, we can prevent all of this because the MR vaccine is 97% effective at preventing measles altogether.
What about this new study I'm hearing about rich Americans being just as likely to die as poorer Europeans?
Just reading that headline is so sad, but basically, the richest 25% of Americans over the course of more than a decade had the same mortality rate as the poorest 25% of Europeans. And researchers suggest this might be related to our lack of exercise, eating processed foods, and the loneliness that Americans face. Money can't solve all your problems, Americans.
That's true. And there is a new push from lawmakers to reintroduce whole milk into schools. So I want to know, is there a real health difference between low and high fat dairy?
You know, it's pretty marginal, Phil. What RFK Jr. and some supporters have said is that the old dietary restrictions against low fat or low saturated fat milk are antiquated. And while that may be true, what we would like to see is a push for more whole food ingredients across the board, not just with milk, but with all foods, and make school lunches affordable. I feel like that's where the conversation should be, not just on milk.
All right. And lastly, what is your prescription for the weekend?
My prescription for this weekend comes down to being a weekend warrior when it comes to fitness. Phil, I know you're jacked. You don't have to hear this advice. But for a lot of us out there, we hear that recommendation about getting 150 minutes of exercise a week. This new study shows that just getting those minutes of exercise on the weekend across opposed to being spread out throughout the week may still have really important health benefits. So if you're a busy Monday through Friday worker, getting your workout in on the weekend and being a weekend worker still goes a long way when it comes to protecting yourself against chronic illness and having a body like Phil.
Yeah. So not everybody can. I understand that. I always thought you had to spread it out during the week. Now they're saying you can just jam it into a weekend and get pretty much similar benefits.
You know, and this one study does show that there are similar benefits if you put it into one weekend. Now, ideally, you would spread out your movement throughout the week, not just about preventing chronic illness, but hey, a week, there's still hope.
Yeah, just keep it moving. That's what you got to do
to
stay healthy. Dr. Patel, thanks so much as always. Really appreciate it.